Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. It has been a very interesting last couple days. There's been a lot of updates around regulations, what Congress is doing, what's happening around crypto, specifically with ETFs. I mean, there's a lot of things really kind of moving pretty quickly right now within this market. And, you know, one of those things that we have been noticing and watching is altcoins. Altcoins are starting to pick up some pace, which is very good. It's a major sign of what's to come, but we're not yet in alt season just yet. Don't get a little bit ahead of yourselves. There's still some work to do. We're still looking at Bitcoin. We're still watching Ethereum, but the big thing to focus on right now with Ethereum is the ETFs, okay? When we look at this, this could very well ignite the flame that starts alt season, because what we will see from there is money trickling from Bitcoin into Ethereum. We'll start to see Ethereum moving heavily in value as well. And that all leads to a rotation into other altcoins. That will be our alt season. And remember, alt season is a very short time in the market, roughly 3 to 6 months. So in that 3 to 6 months is the prime time for making money, taking profits, and getting paid. And for all of those, holders out there of XRP or any altcoin specifically, and you're wondering, why isn't my altcoin moving? Well, it's because we're not in alt season yet. Now, why are we talking about ETFs? Well, it's because it seems as though they are going to get cleared. Do you guys remember the statement back in January from Gary Gensler? Yeah, we have today, the commission approved the listing and trading of a number of spot Bitcoin exchange traded product shares, ETPs. And it's funny because they say like, oh, we originally disapproved all of these exchange rollings and, we didn't want these spot Bitcoin ETPs on the market. And he's quoting Jay Clayton. And it's funny because they already passed, a Bitcoin futures ETF. So wait, we have a futures ETF, but not a spot ETF. Like, how does that make any sense? So that was the argument back then. We were still talking about it for, a couple years later. But regardless, right, they had to, push it through. And what's even more comical about this is them talking about how, the Bitcoin ETF has zero value tied to it, right? What they were saying is down here, they're addressing metals. Specifically, they're talking about how they're neutral. I'd note that the underlying assets in the metals ETPs have consumer and industrial uses, while in contrast, Bitcoin is primarily a speculative volatile asset that's also used for illicit activity, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, and terrorist financing. So you need to be a part of the free Discord right now. With over 2,900 plus members a part of this Discord and a ton of great insights dropped in here every single day. Discussions 24/7, 365 around crypto, free gems, free trading strategies. Guys, you need to join this free Discord now and get access to all of this, especially right now. It is the best time to be a part of it as the market is heating up. If you guys do want to join this, there's a free Discord link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. What are you waiting for? Join today. Really kind of just spewing the nonsense that they've always been talking about, but they had to, push it through. And why was that? Was it because BlackRock? Was it because they were told to? What was going on? We questioned it. We were addressing it on multiple occasions back in January. And now, as we look at Ethereum, it's like, all right, well, what's going on? Is Ethereum about to get the green light in terms of ETFs? Well, over here we have breaking. The SEC tells exchanges to update their Ethereum ETF filings on an accelerated basis. This is a big game changer, right? Like, this will be huge for the entire industry. Now, is it going to get greenlit? We don't know. We have to watch, wait, and see. But guys, we have breaking. BlackRock just filed updated spot Ethereum ETF application with 19B4 form. This is huge. Now, the same exact day, we have Justin, Ethereum ETF applicants submit amended 19B4s. Van Eck, Fidelity, Franklin, ARK Invest, Grayscale, Invesco, Galaxy as well. And we have over here from James, update, it's happening. We have at least 5 of the potential Ethereum ETF issuers that have submitted their amended 19B4s in the last 25 minutes alone. Fidelity, VanEck, Invesco, Galaxy, ARK 21 shares, and Franklin all submitted via CBOE. So very interesting. Now we have still potentially a long way from a launch, but these filings prove that all of the rumors and speculation and chatter have been accurate. Need to actually see SEC approval orders on all of the 19B4s, and then we need to see S1 approvals. Could be weeks or more between ETFs launch. And yes, that's like the number one thing to focus on here. Like, we're not going to see an overnight approval of these, but it seems as though things are moving heavily around these ETFs. And we have, this is the only meaningful and substantial change that I can find, removing the staking language and adding very clear language that the fund's Ethereum cannot be staked by anyone. Yes, this was expected at this point, but nothing else jumps out at me. Also, yes, our approval odds are still at 75%. Not that it even means anything anymore. Haha. So yeah, as we really look at this, it's very significant. A lot of these big players are now looking to have an Ethereum ETF similar to Bitcoin. I mean, it's literally Bitcoin all over again. And in my opinion, yeah, I do think that this ETF approval will happen. And I think that we are going to see the same exact thing happen with Bitcoin, right? It's almost like we're living in a simulation at this point, because it's the same exact thing that happened during that time. Now, remember what happened once we got the approval. Bitcoin didn't immediately skyrocket. No, it took a few days. So it's not going to be like an overnight Ethereum explosion to the upside. But what will happen is that will be the big green light for alt season officially beginning. And by the way, we have been focused on Bitcoin dominance. It has been dropping. We have been following this for a while. In fact, even if we look at this chart, right, we can see when Bitcoin really started to gain momentum and then finally start to drop. And that was just recently, right? So now we're watching this closely. We're addressing what's going on with altcoins. When is alt season officially going to begin? When are we going to get paid on our altcoins? And in my opinion, I don't believe that we are too far out. I would argue probably the next, 3 to 4 weeks will be the full confirmation of alt season officially beginning. And then we pretty much have like 3 to 6 months. And, that's my overall view on this. But again, we still have to take the market one day at a time, watch what happens, and wait for the official breakdown on Bitcoin dominance. Now, outside of this, Standard Chartered, they are saying that they expect the SEC to approve spot Ethereum ETFs this week. Again, take this with a grain of salt. Standard Chartered has been talking a lot of crazy stuff. They've been calling for I think the last time I looked, it was like $250,000 for Bitcoin. Some crazy stuff, right? Like, these major banks will predict pretty much anything. They will try to, skew the market in a way that's beneficial for them. So don't read too much into it. But we are starting to see heavy discussions around these ETFs, which is technically a good sign. But, again, we have to be very careful at this time. Over here as well, big shout to Good Morning Crypto. Breaking, CNBC guest predicts that spot Solana ETF is next in line, predicting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana would be the big 3 for the cycle, while XRP is displayed on the screen, but conveniently not discussed. Of course, like always, CNBC, Fox, like all of these mainstream media outlets, they never really talk about XRP, even if it is on screen. As the only digital asset officially rolled not a security inside the United States, do you believe we see a Solana ETF approved after Ethereum? And check this out.
The SEC is starting to amend these S1s. So I don't know if the Ethereum ETF gets approved today, next week or the week after. It will get approved at some point in time. But also the trade now is who's next, right?
Exactly. Who is next? Because and I was talking about yesterday. Now it's almost time for truly my ETF, my blended ETF, of which, which crypto asset it is. And so who is next, though?
I mean, I think you've got to think about Solana as probably the next one, right? I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are probably the big three for this cycle. But I'll give you even a stranger, or maybe not stranger, but maybe an unintuitive way to think about it, Robinhood and Coinbase. Because now we have some clarity about what a security is and what isn't. And they'll be able to list a lot more crypto, which means a lot more trading for them. So I think they're the biggest beneficiaries from the change that's gone on.
So, BK, really glad to have you here. Big fan of your work.
The SEC is starting to amend.
So you guys have it. And again, I do think that a lot more ETF discussions are going to be on the table. I don't know about XRP. Again, is it bullish if we get an XRP ETF? Sure, it definitely is. It's not something that I'm extremely excited about. Again, I've talked to you guys about these ETFs many times in the past. They are, Wall Street controlled manipulative vehicles in disguise, but it is what it is, right? It's great for the short term. It will pump prices for sure, but we still need to be aware of what they really are. They're just a shiny vehicle for Wall Street to control. That's pretty much all it is. But regardless, these ETF discussions are heating up in a very large way. It also is a big confirmation of where we are headed in this market, where Wall Street is embracing crypto in a very large way. Now, talking about this, what's really happening with these ETFs? What's happening with Gary Gensler and the SEC? Well, everything has changed. Big shout out to the Wolf of all streets. Democrats pushed back against Biden and Warren and voted for crypto. The FDIC chair that Warren was privately protecting and who orchestrated Choke Point 2.0 is also stepping down. The Ethereum ETFs are likely to be approved now as a result of the tide change. Absolutely amazing. And yes, things are starting to turn in a very large way. But is anyone questioning why? Right? What's really going on? Is it just political agenda? Or do we need crypto to help with what's happening right now around the financial world? Because if you look at finance itself, things are changing in a very large way. And we're now starting to see major discussions around this new financial system, more so digitalization, tokenization, CBDC, stablecoins. Like, in my opinion, I feel as though we're kind of headed towards that time frame in this market where utility is about to matter in a very large way. But first, we do still need regulations. Regulatory talks are definitely heating up. I'm actually going to be making a full-on video regarding that and giving you guys my opinion on it. But things definitely are changing. So yeah, I do agree with this. I think that we're now starting to see a major pushback against the anti-crypto army and agenda, and I'm very excited about it. Now, also, Brad Garlinghouse, shots fired at Gary Gensler, guys. This is something very interesting. So this was back in December of 2023, and we have stunning hypocrisy from the person who cozied up to the biggest fraud in recent memory. Gensler is a political liability whose actions have decimated consumers and destroyed the integrity of the SEC while remaining buddy-buddy with Wall Street. Now, this was back in December as well, and there's a lot of non-compliance in the crypto space. It undermines confidence when so many people have been hurt and all they can do is stand in line in the bankruptcy court. Further, this can make it hard for the good faith actors to compete. Now, if you guys do remember, this was back at a time where we were starting to see Coinbase and Binance and all of these exchanges being targeted by Gary Gensler. I don't need to play this video for you guys again. It's basically Gary Gensler just trying to, flame the crypto market just to kind of push his nonsense agenda. But it's funny because as we do see down here, like crypto companies like Coinbase, a public company that the SEC oversaw the listing of, have been trying to gain clarity on the SEC guidance for compliance for the past few years. The SEC hasn't taken a clear stance and has relied on regulation by enforcement. And that's exactly what's happening, right? Like, people are tired of this nonsense, and so are a lot of these major CEOs like Brad Garlinghouse. And even today, right, or technically yesterday, well, this certainly has aged well. Today, more than ever, we are seeing what a political liability Gensler has been to the Biden administration. It's the reason we saw 71 Democrats across the aisle and support Fit 21. We are just getting started. And yes, we are now starting to see the SEC get completely steamrolled. This is a very good sign. Guys, the SEC is basically folding under pressure at this point. They folded under pressure back in the beginning of January with the Bitcoin ETFs. And I do think that they saw it then. I think that they were like, all right, well, if we don't approve this, we're going to have a lot of problems on our hands. And I feel as though the pressure has just been building and building and building. And I really do think that it started with the XRP rolling back in July of last year. And ever since, the SEC has been taking L after L after L. And the pressure is definitely getting to the SEC, in my opinion, specifically Gary Gensler. Now, in my opinion as well, I do believe that this is pretty much the last year that we will see Gary Gensler in his position. But we'll definitely have to watch, wait, and see. But in my opinion, things are changing for the better for crypto and crypto regulation. Now, also, if you guys did miss it, yes, the FIT21 crypto bill got passed by the House. We have over here breaking: U.S. House passes FIT21 crypto bill. This bill provides a clear regulatory framework for digital assets operating inside the United States. This bill aims to protect consumers, foster innovation, and establish American leadership in the digital asset space with new guidelines for banks and exemptions for qualifying assets. FIT21 could safeguard investors and cut off illicit funding, aligning with President Biden's executive order. By providing this clear regulatory framework, the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act is set to revolutionize the digital asset landscape in the USA. Are you bullish on crypto adoption in the US? And, I do think that this is, like I said, the turning point. I really think that we are now starting to see, crypto adoption, crypto regulation really being taken serious for the first time. And it's crazy that it had to take this long. I mean, for me personally, I think back in 2020 should have been the big wake-up call for all of, the U.S. I think that the U.S. should have woke up then and realized what they have in front of them, instead of going after Ripple and saying like, yeah, we need to, start taking action against these companies. It's just comical to me that it took this much damage and this long for anything to try to get any motive around, crypto regulation. I mean, look at Library. Bankrupted US-based company that was changing the game. These companies are getting hurt, retail investors are getting hurt, and it's by an agency that is sought to protect investors. But guess what? They're not. So that's why clear regulations, especially through Congress, could very well be what we are looking for. The CFTC has been doing some very good work as well. We're definitely watching this closely because, guys, I do think that things are starting to change. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.